We've got your sports information and daily updates, plus injury information and betting lines, and so much more. Welcome to the garage. Give the video a like and subscribe to the channel, it helps us out a lot. Please remember, all information in our videos is intended for entertainment purposes only. Now today's video. Welcome back in the garage. Glad you joined us. Let's continue with our NFL season preview. This time, we'll take a look at the AFC West. Starting with the preliminary odds to win the division standing at Kansas City Chiefs plus $1.70, Los Angeles Chargers plus $1.80, Denver Broncos plus $2.20, Las Vegas Raiders 16-1. We'll take a look at each team in the division, starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs had a disappointing season going 6-11 to finish in third place in the AFC West and missed the playoffs for the first time in 10 seasons. The Chiefs lost their last 6 games of the season. Star quarterback Patrick Mahomes suffered a season-ending ACL tear late in the team's Week 15 game, a loss to the Los Angeles Chargers that eliminated the Chiefs from playoff contention. Backup quarterback Gardner Minshew injured his knee the following game, and the team started third-string quarterback Chris Oladokun in the final 2 games. All but one of the Chiefs' wins were by multiple possessions, but they lost 9 of their games by 1 possession. Kansas City went 5-4 at home but 1-7 on the road, which ultimately cost them a trip to the postseason. Early reports show Mahomes ahead of schedule and expected to be ready for the season opener. He passed for 3,587 yards and had 22 touchdowns. He also rushed for another 5 touchdowns. Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco were the team's leading rushers last season, and both are now gone. Hunt led with 611 yards and 8 touchdowns. Kenneth Walker arrives from Seattle. Walker had 1,027 yards and 5 touchdowns and was Super Bowl MVP. The Chiefs desperately needed to find a clear upgrade at the running back position. Travis Kelce at tight end was their top receiver at 851 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's back for his final season. The receiver room suffered last season when Rashee Rice missed 9 games. Even while missing those games, he still had more than any other returning receiver. The Chiefs lost both returning corners to the Rams. Trent McDuffie went in a trade to slash salary, and Watson as a free agent. They drafted Mansour Delane with the number 6 pick out of LSU. How far the Chiefs go will depend on the health of Mahomes and whether the new corners can be dependable. Let's move over to the Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers finished the season 11-6 and in second place in the AFC West and earned the number 7 seed in the playoffs. The Chargers lost to New England 16-3 in the wild card round. Despite starting the season 3-0 for the first time since 2002, the team would lose 3 out of their next 4 games. They finished the season matching their 11-6 record from the previous season and clinched a playoff berth for the second straight year. Justin Herbert is back at starting quarterback. He passed for 3,727 yards and 26 touchdowns. The main problem was the offensive line. Herbert was sacked 54 times last year. Geno Smith was the leader, at 55 times sacked. The Raiders only had 3 wins and got the number 1 pick. The run game was led by Kimani Vidal with 643 yards and 3 touchdowns. His backup was Omarion Hampton, who had 545 yards and 4 touchdowns. Ladd McConkey led the team in receiving with 789 yards and 6 touchdowns. Keenan Allen was second with 777 yards and 4 touchdowns. Allen is still listed as a free agent. and hasn't signed with a team as of this post. Quentin Johnson also had 735 yards with 8 touchdowns. For tight ends, they have Arandi Gadsden and just added David Njoku from the Browns. The Chargers added center Jake Slaughter from Florida in the draft, who is expected to start. The Los Angeles Chargers' 2025 season was defined by catastrophic offensive line injuries, losing both starting tackles, Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt, to season-ending injuries. Slater suffered a ruptured patellar tendon in August, while Alt sustained a severe high ankle fracture in November, causing the unit to use nearly 30 different combinations. Both are expected back this season. For them to move up the line must stay intact. Moving on, we have the Denver Broncos. The Broncos finished 14-3 and earned first place in the AFC West and the overall number 1 seed in the AFC. the Broncos defeated the Buffalo Bills 33-30 in the divisional round to advance to the AFC Championship game. However, starting quarterback Bo Nix suffered a season-ending ankle injury on the second-to-last play. With backup quarterback Jarrett Stidham starting, the Broncos were defeated by the Patriots at home 10-7. Denver went 13-1 to finish the season, losing only to Jacksonville. Denver Broncos coach Sean Payton recently said that quarterback Bo Nix is on track to participate on a limited basis in the team's minicamp next month and will be full speed by training camp. Nix passed for 3,931 yards and racked up 25 touchdowns. He also rushed for 5 more touchdowns. J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey return as a running back 1-2 punch. Dobbins had 772 yards and 4 touchdowns, while Harvey had 540 yards and 7 touchdowns. Denver returns the top 2 receivers in Cortland Sutton with 1,017 yards and 7 touchdowns, and Tony Franklin with 709 yards and 6 touchdowns. No other receiver had more than 1 touchdown. The biggest news was the trade for speedster Jalen Waddle from Miami. They gave up a first and third round draft pick to get him. Waddle had 910 yards and 6 touchdowns. Denver had one of the best defenses last season, allowing only 311 points. Only the Texans and Seahawks allowed less. With Waddle in the lineup, the Broncos have 3 solid receivers that should keep Nix happy. Last up in the West, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. The Raiders finished the season 3-14 and in last place in the AFC West, and missing the playoffs for the 4th straight season. They also received the #1 overall draft pick for having the worst record in the NFL. Geno Smith at quarterback passed for 2,017 yards and 19 touchdowns while throwing 17 interceptions. Smith has moved on to the Jets. The Raiders drafted Fernando Mendoza out of Indiana with the overall #1 pick. They also signed Kirk Cousins as a free agent. Cousins is expected to be the starter until Mendoza is ready to take over. Cousins passed for 1,721 yards and 10 touchdowns in 10 games for the Falcons last year. Ashton Jeanty led the team in rushing with 975 yards and 5 touchdowns. He also had 5 touchdowns receiving. Their top 2 receivers returned, with Trey Tucker having 696 yards and 9 touchdowns, while Brock Bowers had 680 yards and 7 touchdowns, despite missing 5 games. They added Jalen Naylor in free agency from the Vikings. He had 444 yards and 4 touchdowns last season. The Raiders had many holes to fill and started with center Tyler Linderbaum. Linderbaum reached agreement on a record deal with the Raiders, who are awarding him with a 3-year, $81 million deal that includes $60 million guaranteed. They also added linebackers Nakobe Dean and Key Walker. Linebacker was among the biggest need on the roster, and the Raiders filled the void in a matter of minutes by reuniting Nakobe Dean with his former Georgia teammate Walker. The Raiders still may be a year away from contending, but they will definitely be a team that will be better. That will wrap it up for the AFC West. As always, thanks for joining us in the garage. Please do give the video a like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep bringing you our content. Stay tuned for AFC North preview coming up soon. Then be sure not to miss our overview of the entire league, offering insights into which teams have a chance to take it all the way to the big game in Inglewood this February. We'll see you right here next time, in the garage.